Hey everyone, I'm Sarah Ulmer with Y'all Politics. This morning we are sitting down with Congressman Trent Kelly to talk a little bit about the last election that we had and some things that are being worked on in DC. Congressman Kelly, thanks so much for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Sure thing. All right, let's talk a little bit about your reelection. How does it feel to be past the November 3rd election and onto another term in Congress?
Well, it's always great to be reelected to serve the people of Mississippi, and I just want to thank everyone for putting their faith in me to do this job for 2 more years.
What seemed to be some difficulties of this year's campaigning season versus maybe years in the past?
Well, the hard part for us was determining what people wanted, whether they wanted us to engage or they wanted us to do virtually. And I think we did a great bit of both. We met with people in person when we could safely, wearing a mask and social distancing. We also did a lot of virtual events. And so I think it kind of let, like government should be, the constituents decided which way they wanted to hear from us. And I think that's the appropriate way.
Right. What do you see as some big items that you hope to focus on over the next few months as things kind of get geared back up?
Well, I mean, right now, I just got off a conference call with the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, where I'm a conferee, I think for the third year out of the last four in 2 consecutive years. And so we're working on getting that defense bill, which takes care of our service members, their families, defends this great nation. It's one of the few bipartisan processes left up here. So we're doing the conference between the Senate and the House. We will continue to strive to help military families. We will continue to strive to help our farmers in Mississippi. Being on the Ag and Armed Service Committee, we'll continue to focus on those, but also really want to focus on the integrity of elections, making sure that every lawful legal vote is counted, make sure that everything is transparent, that we're not hiding things. I think it's so important for people to have confidence in the electoral system of the United States. And so really we hope we'll do some things that make our integrity of the elections better.
Speaking of that, what are members saying right now in regards to the contesting of some of the election results in certain states, primarily for the presidential race?
Well, what's so funny is we didn't have this same discussion when we had the hanging chads. Our press was not all on fire to get a concession, and right now, very few states. I think one today called the actual state called the election, but the states haven't even certified the election, and we got folks going, "You need to concede." That is not what America. The press does not run our election. The people and the states run our elections, not the press.
Are there concerns in Washington about the implementation of some of the mail-in voting that happened this year?
I don't know. I don't think it's really over the mail-in. I think it's just making sure that ballots go through, that signatures are verified, that boards aren't placed over windows and one party kicked out while the other counts votes. I think that's what people are concerned about. The things that smell to the high heavens, and people are going, "Well, there's no wrongdoing." Well, when you close out people from a process, there's a reason you're closing them out. It is not because you're up to good, it's because you're up to nefarious things.
Moving on a little bit to the COVID-19, which is still happening in the U.S. I know everybody was hoping at this point in the year that we would be long past it, but we are still kind of in the midst of it with even numbers kind of on the rise in states like Mississippi. What is the status of another stimulus package? Are there conversations going on right now to see that happen again?
I think our speaker in the House is blocking anything to do anything to help people. She's more worried about being reelected as speaker than she is helping the American people. It's a travesty. We owe them help. Everybody is willing to work for the most part, except for a few elitist individuals who are concerned about personal benefits. We're ready to do a package to help the American people. And I also think we need to be very careful and cautious about how we do any of this. We need to be safe and secure for everyone. This vaccine, we need to make sure it's distributed fairly to the people who have the highest need first, and which would be our first responders, our elderly, or our at-risk groups. And then the main thing we need to do is we don't need to do away with people's individual liberties, because we in Washington shouldn't be deciding what people can and cannot do for the most part.
We're hearing that there's expected to be a vaccine, possibly even as early as mid-December. Is that kind of what y'all are hearing as well?
Well, they still have some process to go through. We're hearing that it will be available for certain groups, and like I said, hopefully it's those high risk groups or first responders or healthcare workers. And then I think it'll be probably the middle of the year is what I'm hearing before it is readily available to all. And my understanding is it's a 2-dose process, a week apart or something like that. But it's 95% effective. That is more effective or as effective as the measles, and we've seen what we did eradicating measles.
Absolutely. You know, with the numbers rising, what is the appetite for another potential lockdown for the United States or even another nationwide mask mandate?
You know, it should be based on what the states do, and I don't think. Let me just tell you, I don't think a lockdown is a solution. We have to maintain people's individual liberties and rights, and you know, and you're seeing with these politicians all across the nation don't have group gatherings, and then they're sitting in there doing exactly. You know, we do not need to take away individuals' rights. I'm going to tell you, we as American people, I trust the American people to take care of their fellow man. We are good people at the core, and I think they need to trust us as Americans to do what's right with guidance from the CDC.
Well, Congressman Kelly, thanks so much for taking a few minutes to talk with us today. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. You can find out more about what's happening in DC on our website at y'allpolitics.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Facebook for more up-to-date news on what's happening in Mississippi politics. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Sarah Ulmer.